Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron. Welcome back to my holiday 2019 box office predictions. And today, we're going to be talking about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. We're going to go over the pros and cons of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. So, let's jump right into it. Pros. The movie stars Tom freaking Hanks. Now, I don't need to go into detail about this man's entire resume, but I will list off several movies that you may have either seen or heard of. These movies include Big, Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, Saving Private Ryan, You've Got Mail, The Green Mile, the Toy Story quadrilogy, Castaway, Road to Perdition, Catch Me If You Can, Polar Express, that crappy Da Vinci Code movie, Captain Phillips, Sully. And yeah, he's had some duds. And don't you worry, we will go over those duds once we get to the cons. But for the most part, Tom Hanks' resume is pretty fantastic, and he's widely considered one of the greatest actors in Hollywood today. The man's a living legend, so there's not much more to say about him, other than the fact that the 2010s have not been kind to him when it comes to box office. But again, we'll talk about that when we get to the cons. So that's the first pro. Second pro is who he is portraying in this movie. And who he is portraying is a man named Fred Rogers, the creator and host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and a man who is widely considered to be one of the nicest human beings ever. I mean, seriously. This is a man yet. He had his own show, and, most celebrities or celebrity type figures can be terrible people. They can be, selfish, greedy, entitled, just all around bad people. Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, he wasn't that at all. He was a nice, positive person. And he wanted to bring, joy and happiness to people's lives. And who can fault him from that? I mean, the world's a negative place. I mean, just go to social media and you'll know what I mean. I mean, I go on social media all the time. I'm on Twitter, and going on Twitter and reading some tweets, it just makes me lose hope in humanity. So, yeah. And the third pro that goes along with the whole, the character, the man that Tom Hanks is portraying, is that this movie is just positive, right? We need more positive movies, right? And, the media and, people have been, it's either the media craps on movies or consumers crap on movies. Like how the media crapped on Joker so much, even though nothing happened. And how, audiences crapped on recent movies like Dark Fate and Charlie's Angels. It's just spewing a whole lot of negativity that gets kind of exhausting after a while, but at the same time, I participate in it too. Because, it can be exhausting sometimes, but it can also be really fun too. So, that sounds really bad. But, sometimes a movie comes out that's positive, gives has positive messages, and, people are addicted to that. They like movies like this, and I believe this movie will appeal to a great amount of people because of that. Next pro is the reviews. They are Oscar worthy. They're in the high 90s. So I would expect the audience score to be similarly high. And this movie should have strong legs because it is going to be like an Oscar movie. And it's not going to be like a super Oscar baity type movie. I feel like this is a movie that can get a general audience. It's not just a bunch of cinephiles. So, yeah. Alright. I think that's it. Yeah. That's it for the pros. Cons. Yes, there's cons with A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I know. I'm shocked too. But the big con here is Tom Hanks' box office track record as of late. And while all the movies I've said I mentioned, and even movies I didn't mention, like Philadelphia, which won him an Oscar. All those movies were hits. The 2010s has been a rough decade for Tom Hanks, and I'm about to show you. All right, Tom Hanks. If it can load. Okay. I gotta go all the way down here. All right. Start from 2010, right? Started off pretty strong with Toy Story 3. Then he did Larry Crone. It bombed. Nobody cared about that movie. Next, he did Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Nobody cared about that movie either. It somehow got nominated for Best Picture, which baffles me. And then the next one here is Cloud Atlas. And I love Cloud Atlas. I love that movie. I'll defend that movie till the end. But even then, that movie bombed. Right? So that's 3 duds in a row. It's not looking good. And then he did, Captain Phillips, which I mentioned before. Saving Mr. Banks did all right. Didn't do fantastic. So, Same goes for Bridge of Spies. Those movies did Hologram for a King, that doesn't really matter. And Sully, I said, was one of his bigger hits. Then he did Inferno, which was a mistake. And The Circle, which was also a mistake. Although he did play a small role in the movie, so it's not that big of a deal. And then The Post, which did okay, but literally nobody remembers that movie at all. I haven't heard a single human say anything about The Post, ever. Wow. That's something. And that movie starred Meryl Streep and directed by Steven Spielberg, but that movie's just been forgotten by history, so it's weird. So yeah, 2010's been a bit rough for Tom Hanks. But I don't think that's gonna hurt, this particular movie too much. What is gonna hurt this movie is the competition it's gonna face, not just this weekend, but for the rest of December and November. Because this weekend it has to deal with the juggernaut that is Frozen 2. And this is a movie like Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's a movie that could appeal to families, but families are just gonna be flooding in to see Frozen 2, because that's the bigger deal, right? And then next week, for Thanksgiving, this movie could do really well on Thanksgiving. I can definitely see that happening. But it still has to deal with movies like Knives Out and Queen Slim. Then December is going to be rough. I mean, starting from the 13th, it's going to be brutal. Facing off against movies like Richard Jewell, Jumanji Next Level, and then Rise of Skywalker and Cats. It's going to be rough for this movie to really, stick in there. But, I think it has a chance. I think it has a decent chance of sticking in there. So, yeah. Opening weekend, I'm going to say a number it's going to open between 15 to 20 million. That's my range. 15 to 20 million opening. And I think I'll have decent legs the low end is 60. The high end is 75. I think it can. So it'll be between 60 and 75 if all everything goes well. And yeah, that's Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. So what's next? Oh yeah, the movie everyone's gonna watch, Frozen 2. Gotta cover that. And then after that, Knives Out, Queen Slim, and that's it. So yeah. That's it. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. Want to go check out my past predictions. I have a playlist of holiday 2019, fall 2019, summer 2019. I've done recaps of certain months, and eventually have to do this month too, which is gonna be real fun. Talking about all the failures, but yeah. That's it. That's all, and I am out.